Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are group 7 and we'll be presenting on corruptions of knowledge. Alright, my name is SHABINA GHOFUR. My metric number is 2323136 and I will be presenting the introductions, definitions, also conclusions for our topic, corruptions of knowledge. IIUM has a special mission to be guardian of knowledge and virtue. This means studying at IIUM is not only about getting good grades, but also about building good character, adab, and our relationship with Allah. However, this mission faces challenges today. Many people use knowledge for personal gain, power, or just to look smart. In social media, campuses, and daily life, knowledge is often used for worldly purposes instead of doing good. Because of these problems appear, less sincerity, following trends blindly, focusing on external achievement instead of moral values. Two scholars, Al-Atas and Abu Sulaiman, explain that this happens when knowledge is spirited from adab and spiritual purpose. The definition corruption of knowledge means knowledge that should be true and useful becomes distorted, misused, or used for the wrong purpose. In Islam, knowledge is an amanah, a trust. It should guide us closer to Allah, helps us do good and practices justice. When knowledge is used for ego, ambitions, or showing off, it is corrupted. According to Al-Atas, corruption starts when adab is lost. Adab is not just manners, it is the proper way to think, act, and understand things. Without adab, people cannot tell right from wrong. This makes unqualified people look like experts, while true knowledge is ignored.
My name is NADJA MAJIDAH. My metric number 2322598. For the next part, I will explain the Islamic philosophy of knowledge and how it connects to the mission of IIUM. Wow. So, in Islam, knowledge or ilm is not just information. It is a sacred trust and amanah from Allah, meant to guide us toward trust, justice, and spiritual growth. The Quran and the teachings of the Prophet remind us that seeking knowledge is a form of worship. It shapes our character, helps us distinguish right from wrong, or strengthens our taqwa or good consciousness. When knowledge is used sensorily, it brings a person closer to Allah and allows them to contribute positively to society. From an Islamic perspective, knowledge is an amanah that must be sought with sincerity and used for good. It leads to trust and justice, two essential values emphasized repeatedly in the Quran and Hadith. True knowledge illuminates the heart and mind, allowing a person to act with moral integrity. Many Muslim scholars discuss this, but one of the most influential voice is Sheikh Muhammad Naqib Al-Atas. He argues that knowledge in Islam is never value neutral, unlike modern Western ideas that focus on objectivity without moral boundaries. Islamic knowledge is always tied to purpose and ethics. Its highest aim to recognize the proper place of everything in creation, a concept connected to adab. For Al-Atas, knowledge is incomplete unless it shapes disciplined behavior and inner order. He also warns that knowledge becomes corrupted when used for fame, wealth, power, or ego. Without sincerity and adab, knowledge loses its spiritual direction and becomes harmful rather than beneficial. This brings us to IIUM. IIUM was founded on the principle of ilm and adab, aiming to integrate Islamic values with modern knowledge. The goal is not only to produce successful graduates, but individuals with balanced intellect, character, and faith. Studies show that many IIUM students do practice Islamic values such as rejecting bribery, valuing honesty, and showing emotional and spiritual intelligence. However, challenges remain. Issues like campus cleanliness, communication, and daily interaction show that the embodiment of Islamic values is not yet consistent. This reminds us that living Islamic principles requires continuous effort. Today, many students face pressure to compete, to gain recognition, or to secure their future. When this happens, knowledge and leadership risk becoming tools for self-validation instead of sincere service. Islamic knowledge may be used as an identity rather than responsibility. As a result, knowledge stays in the mind but may fail to shape the heart and behavior. In conclusion, the Islamic philosophy of knowledge teaches us that true ilm must lead to trust, justice, sincerity, and adab. As students of IIUM, we carry this amanah. Our challenge is not only to learn, but to live the values that knowledge demands from us.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is NADHIRAH binti KAMAL. My matrix number is 2329960. And today I will be talking about three domains, which is education, politics, and media. Today I want to talk about a problem affecting the Muslim world, a problem that isn't loud, but it's everywhere. Tan and Wahyu 2024 highlights how politics, media, and education are slowly being shaped by materialisms and the pursuit of power instead of truth and taqwa. Sometimes even religious language is used to justify corruption, till unethical behavior starts to feel normal. The core issue is spiritual. When taqwa fades, our judgments becomes weak. People start to following emotions, desires, and whatever the media repeats. And Tan Wahyu also mentions that spiritual alertness is lost. The dunya becomes priority and akhirah get pushed aside. Corruption also becomes much more subtle nowadays, not just the big scandals we see on TV, but small dishonest habits we tolerate every day. Over time, these small acts weaken the disciplines and damage the moral strength of the Ummah. We also see the same pattern in education. Many students chase grades, titles, and career rather than the sincerity or adab. A study by Mike Yusuf 2025 found that the Malaysia exam-oriented system pressure the teachers to focus on marks instead of character. This produces achievements without necessarily producing integrity. Even knowledge becomes hollow when it is used for recognition instead of treated as an amanah. This sort of challenge appears in IIUM as well. These institutions built on ilmu and adab. Soleh and Faizuddin 2021 found that the many students leaders do uphold strong values, rejecting bribery, evaluating honesty, and practicing accountability. And Alhamdulillah, that shows a very clear strength. But they also found weakness in this area, like campus cleanliness, politeness, and giving proper feedback. This reminds us that Islamic value must be lived consistently, not only known. Today's many students feel pressure to chase title, status, and future security. Sometimes leadership becomes about recognition instead of responsibility. Sometimes knowledge stays in the mind but doesn't reach the heart. And that is the real problem. When knowledge is separated from the divine guidance, it loses its powers to shape characters. So if we truly want to rebuild strength in this Muslim world, we must return to taqwa. Because with taqwa, knowledge has purpose, leadership has sincerity, and success finally has meaning. And that is all from me. Assalamualaikum.
My name is HASAN Malikahimsa Meutia, my metric number 2327560. Now, I will present the solution of the corruption of knowledge based on the ideas of Syed Muhammad Naqib Alatas, Abdul Hamid Abu Sulaiman, and also some practical steps for IIUM. First, according to Syed Muhammad Naqib Alatas, the main solution is to restore adab. Alatas explains that corruption of knowledge happens when people lose discipline, humility, and proper understanding of their place in the world. So, education must start by teaching adab, not just manners, but moral and intellectual discipline. Next, he emphasizes that all subjects must integrate spiritual and ethical elements, not only courses in Islamic studies. This means that science, economics, law, and other fields must reflect an Islamic worldview and moral purpose. Finally, Alatas highlights the importance of sincerity and humility in seeking knowledge. Students should learn with the right intention for Allah, not for status or recognition. Second, Abdul Hamid Abu Sulaiman offers solutions from a leadership and reform perspective. He argues that we must change the mindset of education. The goal is not just to produce workers for the job market, but to develop leaders who care about the Ummah and who can solve its real problems. He also said that universities should produce thinkers, not only technicians. This means encouraging critical thinking, creativity, and ability to connect knowledge with ethical and social responsibilities. Lastly, he stresses the need for Islamic-based research and problem-solving so that knowledge truly serves the community and addresses issues such as moral decline, injustice, and social challenges. Third, we propose several practical steps for IIUM. IIUM should strengthen courses that build the Tawhidic worldview, so students see every discipline through an Islamic lens. The university should also promote programs that combine community service, reflection, and spiritual growth, helping students connect knowledge with real-life responsibility. Finally, mentorship and moral leadership training should be encouraged to guide students in developing character, humility, and ethical purpose. In short, these solutions aims to restore the true meaning of knowledge by combining intellectual excellence with spiritual and moral integrity.
In conclusion, corruption of knowledge is a serious problem for the Muslim community. It is not just wrong information, but the loss of the true purpose and values of knowledge. This problem starts when adab and sincere intentions are weak. That is why universities like IIUM are very important. We must learn with good intentions and protect knowledge as an amanah from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala.